Clarity is key, and clarity creates such confidence. Today, I want to talk about designing a clear school offer, an amazing model to give families. I know as a leader, we are envisioning so many incredible things for our students, and sometimes all of the ideas can feel very overwhelming. In this episode, I'm going to talk about clarifying your school model to help you to really transform the joy of leading a microschool or a hybrid program. Welcome to the Redream Education Podcast. I'm Mackenzie Oliver, microschool founder, educator, coach, and believer in the power of starting small, dreaming boldly, and rebuilding the future of education one courageous step at a time. If you're here, it's because something in your life, your classroom, your family, your child, your community, or your calling is asking for a new dream, a wiser dream, a redream. This podcast is where we challenge the old models, rethink what learning can be, and build innovative pathways for children, families, and communities. Each week, you'll gain the systems, strategies, stories, and soul work you need to design personalized learning, understand how education is changing for the better, start or scale a microschool, lead with confidence, make a change for your family, and create an education model that actually works for today's world. Because you aren't just dreaming of something different, you are building it. This is a space where we re-envision what school can be, reimagine how children learn, and rebuild the systems that were never designed to meet the needs of our future and current generation. This is a podcast to redream education as we share insights, strategies, stories, and tools to teach our children better, transform learning at home, support innovative education models, and invest financially or personally in the future of students everywhere. Because you aren't just dreaming about a better education, you're part of the movement to create it. Welcome to the Redream Education Podcast. This is where the future begins. This podcast is airing in February, but I'm recording it in January to get excited. And I'm just so thankful that we have finished our offer for the upcoming school year. And going into year 7 of a microschool, we have continued to refine our school year after year. And I really believe that this is the year where all of the stars, the moon, the sun, it all aligned. And I want to give the biggest shout out and credit to the teachers at our school and to all the leaders of our school and to parents who put in surveys for our school to help us to just get better. And if you're a microschool leader, this is a pivotal time of the school year where you are clarifying what you are going to be providing to your students and to your families. When you design a very clear school offer, and trust me, I know it can take a long time, meaning it can take years, because where we are now is not where we were when we started, obviously, and we just keep getting better and better. There are so many domino effects when you finally get your offer laid out on the table. So prior to, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, or maybe you are a new listener, we have an introductory packet that we give to all of our families, current and new, each year. Well, the introductory packet, it is the foundation. It is like the Bible of your school for your philosophy and how it impacts students. And I feel like year after year, we were getting closer and closer and closer to what I had envisioned. Now, we may still have ideas that are out into the beautiful universe about owning a farm and land and having tiny houses for all the schools. It's still there. We're not there yet. But the model and how we teach, it is becoming so much more defined and clear and systematic to watch students excel. through self-paced and through mastery learning. It is always a very big endeavor to refine your school. You could just keep doing the same thing you're doing over and over again, but isn't that what all schools typically do prior to creating alternative education models? We have the ability to make it better year and year again. I remember as a former public school teacher, when you got a curriculum, the school invested millions of dollars into this curriculum, and you were married to this curriculum. You had to follow the scope and sequence and all of the parameters of this curriculum for that grade level, and you typically were married to it for many, many years because of the investment. Sometimes 5-10 years, you use the same curriculum, even if you notice that it was not yielding the impact that we needed for student success. Now, I'm not suggesting that we keep changing things over and over and over again, but I do believe that as a school grows and as you grow as a leader and as parents begin to have ownership in the school's vision, we start to get better and we start to get more aligned. I'm finding I just got off the phone after having several coming to the table with team members to flush out how we can make our school better for the next year and the programs that we're going to offer. And we've got a very incredible, solid kindergarten through 5th grade model, separate from our 6th through 8th grade model and separate from our enrichment model. And this was not my idea alone. These were so many people who gave input. And I had drafted up the introductory packet. We printed it out. We came to the table again. And after hours of going through page by page, we ripped it apart. We rewrote it. We pulled teachers in again, asked them, how can we make it better? What are we going to do in this scenario? How can we best support our students through leadership and social emotional learning? And how are we going to make sure that our students have this walk-to model for math and for reading? It was such a beautiful shared ownership that even after a very long, intensive day of editing our offer, I still received so many text messages from people on our school team that were like, this is going to be the best year ever. This is going to be amazing. And when you create your introductory packet, it's not like you just make it in a night. Although I did do that my first year. I'm got up, I had the Holy Spirit just flowing through me here. And then year after year, it took me longer and longer and longer. I think we started out 4 pages our first year. Then the next year it was maybe 6 pages. And then the next year it was 12 pages. And then it was 18 pages, 20 pages. And I'm all right, we need to scale it back just a little bit. Let's tighten it up a little bit. But the introductory packet is where it's at. Now, it's like writing a book. I've always thought in a dreamy world that I would love to be an author. And then every time I sit down to make that new introductory packet every year, I'm like, wow, let's hold off on the idea of becoming an author because this is extravagant. This is a lot. You got to put all your ideas together. You got sticky notes everywhere. You got highlighters. You got markers. You put it all together. You send it off. It gets drafted. Then you edit it. Then you got to revise it. And then you're taking it off to the printer to get it published. And then lo and behold, maybe a couple weeks later, you're like, oh, I need to change that. Or, oh, but I don't think this year we're going to have to do that. We're finally here. And my digital assistant, she said, hey, I know we had a lot of late nights making sure we got to the deadline of putting this offer out. And some people on the team were like, do we have to get this out by Friday? I'm like, yes. We have to get this out by Friday. This is the Bible of our school. And once we get this out, it's off to the races to make it happen. If you are a teacher, a homeschooling parent, or a brand new microschool founder who is trying to figure out what comes next, you need to hear this. Microschool Masterminds is the community and coaching program I wish I had when I first stepped out of the classroom and built our microschool. Yes, straight from the living room to now nearly over 100 students thriving in year 6. This is where teachers and founders finally get the roadmap, the support, and the systems to create a thriving microschool without burning out. Inside Microschool Masterminds, you will receive weekly live coaching with me and other powerful professionals who discuss strategy, solutions, and provide personal support. You also receive step-by-step modules to build your school legally, financially, and operationally. Marketing enrollment done for you with training that works even if you've never advertised before, and you can learn this on your own time through our microschool masterminds classroom modules. Worried about multi-age classrooms or curriculum? We've got you covered with our curriculum planning resources. You receive templates, checklists, scripts, and systems for marketing, financial systems, operations, community building, and growth. Everything is ready for you to plug in and go. Most importantly, you have access to a powerful community of other founders who understand your dreams and your fears. Whether you're starting really slow, or you're still teaching the classroom and you're dreaming of breaking free, or you're already running your microschool but feeling overwhelmed, trying to figure out also how to build a hybrid program. This is a place where you gain clarity, confidence, and of course, a plan. Because you don't have to do this alone. You deserve guidance, you deserve support, and your microschool deserves to grow with ease, not chaos. If you're ready to redream education and take the next step, join us inside Microschool Masterminds, where together we are building this education system better. Head over to redreameducation.com/masterminds to learn more. Again, that's redreameducation.com/masterminds. It has such a domino effect on your enrollment and how people sign up, and if you're going to do summer camp and how you're going to do summer camp, and it impacts your hiring, and it impacts families being able to make a decision, which is all such a joyful opportunity of leading a microschool or homeschool hybrid. So if you're in the trenches and you feel heavy right now, if every new idea feels like just one more thing to carry, this episode truly is for you. Because most schools don't fail because leaders don't care. They fail because they might add too much without ever clarifying the model. So today we're talking about how designing a clear, well-defined offer for your school, it totally changes everything from enrollment and parent trust to teacher confidence and your own sense of freedom as a leader. So if you're a parent building a microschool, or a teacher launching a hybrid, or a founder that's just trying to stabilize what you've already built, this conversation is about lifting the weight that comes from complexity and replacing it with clarity. Now, the reason why this topic matters right now is because you may find that you are either transitioning out of public school and starting a school, or you are maybe a builder that's overwhelmed. You could be second guessing yourself. Oh my gosh, I do that all the time. Or you're stacking solutions and solution instead of clarifying the direction. And this can come up as maybe curriculum overload, too many acronyms, confused teachers, confused parents, or just you as a leader losing confidence because you can't explain your own school simply. And when you can't clearly explain your model, it doesn't mean you're failing. It just means that your vision may be buried under complexity. I think the first part that we need to discuss is just the danger of program stacking. And program stacking happens when we add too many initiatives to solve discomfort instead of refining the model. So let's just add one more thing and maybe it will work. Or let's just do a brand new curriculum every year. Let's do some random enrichment days. Let's have just multiple behavior systems, maybe too many labels, too many pathways, too many schedules without it being coherent. And it's dangerous because it will dilute your teacher confidence. It can fracture your student experience. It can just create this inconsistency. The parents feel unsure. And I've always heard, if you confuse, you lose. So when everything is important, nothing feels intentional, and complexity doesn't equal quality. The more programs you have do not automatically mean a better education. So for us, instead of having a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 day model, this year we cut out a 1 day model, or 1 day program. And so we just have 5, 4, 3, or 2. We now have it very clear how learning looks in kindergarten through 5th, how learning looks 6th through 8th, and how we're transitioning students into high school, in addition to how our enrichment days look. Instead of being like, this is what we do, this is what we use, it's like, this is what it looks like if you were to walk into our school and your student needed to be placed in a classroom. Instead of it being by age level, it's by ability for reading, and then they walk to their ability group for math, and then they come back together with their same age peers for social studies for project-based learning. And then we have a separate model for middle school, and we have a separate model for our enrichment program. So each of these models have been very clearly defined with multiple stakeholders. And when you have a clear model, it really does build your confidence for everyone. And I do want to say that a model is not a program. A model answers, how do students learn? Why does this work? And what stays consistent even as students change? This clarity matters because teachers teach better when they understand why they're doing it. Students feel safer when there's a predictable system, and parents trust that they can understand. So confidence doesn't come from perfection. It truly does come from clarity. Now, from the introductory packet, from your offer comes branding, and branding is not marketing. Branding is your leadership. Branding is not your logo. It's not your buzzword. Branding is the shared language and a shared understanding. So when done well, we don't just talk about how our stream enrichment are these subjects. It's the way that we organize the learning. Literacy paths for our students aren't labels. They actually explain how students progress. Middle school model isn't just a schedule. It shows how we signal readiness, how we show independence, and how students gain purpose. So when you name your model well, you reduce confusion, you increase your buy-in, you help families self-select, and honestly, you just strengthen your staff alignment. A well-named model does the explaining for you. So for our elementary program, we have enlightened literacy block, we have our guided math block, and we have our project-based social studies. That's an example of our model. Then we have our ready model for middle school, and then we have our stream model for enrichment. Parents enroll when there's clarity, not chaos. So parents don't enroll because you just offer everything. They enroll because they understand something. Will my child be known? How does learning actually work here? And what happens if my child struggles or excels? And the reason why clarity converts is because clear models feel safe, clear language builds trust, and when you have a clear pathway, it reduces fear. They don't necessarily, as a parent, need to understand your education theory. They just need to understand your model, your school. And honestly, every time you refine your model, you're not going backwards. You're removing things. It's not a failure. You're simplifying your leadership. Growth doesn't always look like expansion. Sometimes it looks like fewer programs. It looks like clearer language. It looks like stronger alignment. It looks like more confidence saying, this is who we are. Strong schools aren't busy schools. They are intentional. Now, if you are a microschool leader or you are starting a hybrid program, microschool, we invite you to join us in our microschool masterminds. We meet every single week on Thursday, and it was a beautiful, beautiful gathering today. We had microschool leaders in, and we've had so many people, I mean, honestly, even in tears, say, I have needed this, because it can feel lonely and we can help one another. It's almost like a counseling session, but it also has strategy and it's got great ideas, and you're taking notes and you're learning. And then outside of us meeting together, you are in a group, our school app. We have a app called School, SKOOL. You click on the app and you can learn from so many modules outside of us meeting. And then if you're learning something through a module and you have questions about it, you can ask us in our community. You can show up at the conference at our Zoom meeting. You can ask questions about it. You can share your struggles. We share our wins. And if you are a microschool mastermind, you also have access to the introductory packet. You also have access to our marketing modules. Anything that we've ever had in our school, in our store as a microschool leader is now included in microschool masterminds. That is the only place you can actually purchase the introductory packet and all of our marketing materials, as well as purchase some of our courses. So unfortunately, we had to take all that down from our shop that we had separately because we wanted to make it a more inclusive model. And so we had to do that for Microschool Masterminds too. We took out all the offers that we had and we put them all together in Microschool Mastermind. So if you become a Microschool Mastermind, not only do you receive group coaching every single week, you also have access to all of our modules and content that you can learn at a self-paced program. And you have access to purchase the introductory packet and our marketing materials, as well as the courses that we have had and produced for our open houses and for marketing and enrollment. If you want to learn more, go to redreameducation.com/masterminds. And I encourage you, get clear on your offer. Come join us so that we can help you to get clear. And remember that less is more. It is time to redream education and to actually take that next step. Join us in Microschool Masterminds every single week for live group coaching, self-paced modules, and of course, a powerful community. Head on over to redreameducation.com/masterminds and join us in our free Facebook group at Redream Education Microschool Community. To learn more, that's redreameducation.com/masterminds.